please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Back show the next 30 minutes, but first let's start with the top story that we are tracking today. The Central Bureau of Investigation arrested Karti Chidambaram for his alleged involvement in the INX media case. The CBI arrested Karti, who is also the son of former Finance Minister P. Chidambaram, at the Chennai airport after he returned from London. The CBI had filed its FIR in the case last year. It had alleged that there were irregularities in the erstwhile Foreign Investment Promotion Board's clearance to INX Media for receiving overseas funds to the tune of 350 crore rupees in 2007 when P. Chidambaram was the finance minister. The FIR also alleges that INX Media had paid 10 lakh rupees to Karti's firm as consultancy fee. We learned that he was arrested for not cooperating with the CBI in its probe. Karti Chidambaram has been flown down to Delhi and taken to Delhi's Patiala House Court. Ashmit Kumar, meanwhile, is joining in on the phone line now. Ashmit, interesting turn of events, but take us through what's the process now. What is CBI expected to do?
Well, going forward, as is the norm, that upon the arrest of an accused, within 24 hours, the party has to be made, has to appear in before a CBI court, which is the case here as well. The only one precondition prior to that is that there needs to be a medical examination. So that is a process that is currently underway. Currently, medical examination is underway at the CBI headquarters. That's where we understand Karti Chidambaram currently is. He's expected here at Patiala Court at about 4:30 to 5 p.m. That's when he's expected to come here. What will happen here? Well, as far as Patiala Court is concerned, the CBI will have a tough case in terms of justifying and rationalizing the arrest, given that the foreign travels that, in fact, they have taken objection to, the CBI appears to have taken objection to, was in fact sanctioned by the courts. They will also have to make good their case that there is new evidence to suggest that there was perhaps tampering with the evidence, or perhaps attempts to made to influence the witnesses. So this is something that they will have to substantiate on. Meanwhile, Karti Chidambaram on his part will be moving a bail application, will be seeking relief by way of bail. So all of these proceedings, we imagine in the next 60-odd minutes, we're expected to get the answers to.
Okay, Ashmit, thanks for putting that into perspective. Now, just hours after the arrest of his son, former Finance Minister P. Chidambaram issued a statement accusing the government of using CBI to target his family. The statement read, and I quote now, "It was a collective decision by the Foreign Investment Promotion Board to grant clearance to INX Media to receive overseas funds. The government's aim is to silence my voice and stop me from writing. All I will say is I shall continue to speak and write," unquote. Now, opposition parties came out in defence of Karti Chidambaram. The Congress claimed that Karti's arrest is aimed at diverting focus from the PNB fraud. BJP Subramaniam Swamy, meanwhile, maintained that Karti had been given enough chances and that his father P. Chidambaram should be arrested next.
ऐसा तो होना ही था. मैं देख रही थी कि किस पे निशाना ला देंगे ये लोग, और कार्तिक चिदम्बरम is sitting back for this. तो बस नीरव मोदी का बारे में कोई बोल देंगे नहीं, बाकी जितने भी हेरा फेरी चल रहा है उसके बारे में बोलेंगे नहीं, अमित शाह के बेटे के बारे में कुछ नहीं होगा, मगर हाँ, कार्तिक चिदम्बरम को इस समय अभी गिरफ्तार करना है ताकि देश का नजर इन पे पड़े.
The timing of the arrest raises very important questions. We have seen the Nirav Modi scam taking the center stage. It gives an apprehension that probably the arrest has been timed, arrest has been made to ensure that all those scams where the government feels the heat goes to the back door. Probably that is the reason. And if we look at these kind of white-collar offences, the Supreme Court has time and again clearly given instructions that arrest should not be resorted to. And why are they arresting him now? See, whether he is guilty or innocent, that has to be proven in a court of law. By this arrest, what are they going to achieve?
CBI gave them a lot of chances, but he continued to tell lies even when the documents were, I think. Now, the crime he has committed is to receive the bribe money. But the arrangement for getting the bribe was done by Chidambaram's father. So Chidambaram also must be arrested.
Now let's get to the latest in the 12,800 crore rupee PNB fraud. The news is tightening around Nirav Modi and Mehul Choksi as investigative agencies up the ante. We learned from sources that the Enforcement Directorate has moved the Prevention of Money Laundering Court, seeking non-bailable warrants against the two accused jewellers. Sources say that the non-bailable warrant will enable ED to begin the extradition process. And meanwhile, investigative agencies have also begun a crackdown in several other bank fraud cases. The CBI has filed an FIR against West Bengal-based RP Infosystem as well as its directors. They are accused of a fraud of over 500 crore rupees. Utkar Chaturvedi joins in now with the details. Utkar, this is just getting bigger by the day. Explain to us how this new development essentially pertains to the larger case.
So, Kritika, there are two aspects of it. I will first come to the merits of this case which has been filed against RP Infosystems. What is the case is that Canara Bank and 10 other banks and this consortium lended somewhere around 600 crore rupees to RP Infosystems, and then they have been accused of cheating all of these banks. Now, how the cheating has been done is that they inflated its receivables to show on the books of account. Also very important, they did not route the sale proceeds through the loan account and siphoned off the entire money. Also, the companies like GAIL and SEAT, which were shown as debtors in the books of RP Infosystem, went ahead and clarified to SBI that they have no business with this company. So in short, they took the money for a certain purpose, and what all the banks are claiming is that they never had the stock for which the money was taken, and in fact they have inflated their receivables in the same case. Two interesting things here, that all of the banks have declared RP Infosystems as an NPA back in 2013, and in 2015 and 16 all these banks have declared RP Infosystem as a fraud case and have referred it to RBI. And what is important here, Kritika, is whether it be the case today, whether it be the two cases of OBC, whether one against Bhavle Sugar or the Dwarka based jeweler, is that after the whole PNB fallout, you are seeing a lot of bankers now coming and approaching the investigative agencies when they see a fraud or when they smell a fraud being happening. What was happening earlier was that these things were in the background. As you can see, that the NPA was done in 2013. They actually went ahead and declared this as a cheating and fraud account in 2015-16. But it is now that either by the fear of the government or from the courage within, all the bankers are now approaching the investigative agencies regarding these frauds. We will really wait and watch how long is this list and how many bankers will now start approaching the investigative agencies for the cases which they think are fraud.
Okay, fair enough. Thanks for putting that into perspective, Utkarsh. That's an interesting turn of events as far as the latest, as far as investigative agencies probe into the issue is concerned. But against the backdrop of the recent bank scams, the government is now mulling a new agency to regulate auditors. However, sources tell us that the cabinet is yet to take a decision on the creation of this new agency, National Financing Reporting Authority. In fact, at today's meeting, the cabinet could not take up the proposal to approve the NFRA. Now, let's completely shift focus to Telecom Corner, and here's the latest from the tussle that's brewing in the telecom space. Bharti Enterprises chairman Sunil Bharti Mittal has reacted exclusively to telecom regulator TRAI's latest order on predatory pricing. In an exclusive interview with CNBC Tv18's Megha Vishwanath in Barcelona, Sunil Bharti Mittal said that Bharti Airtel will challenge the order as that's the only option that it is left with. Here's an excerpt.
Telecom industry has been into a lot of litigation. Unfortunately, I hope that the regulators and the governments see all the litigation that is sitting in the telecom industry and lower the cause of litigation. On this one, we have heard the regulatory chairman to say legal recourse is welcome. So I don't think so there's any other choice here.
So you will jump onto the legal battle?
I don't think so there's any choice, because you can't be in the market with your hands tied up. So I think a legal recourse is inevitable.
Okay, that is exactly what Sunil Bharti Mittal had to say as far as what the options are that is left to them. But let's move on to another exclusive. Sources tell us the debt-laden telecom firm SL has filed for bankruptcy in Mumbai's NCLT. SL is believed to have filed for bankruptcy just a short while ago, and this is after its lenders have met in Delhi and approved the terms and conditions. That's just a basic process. But SL's debt stands at around 19,000 crore rupees, so it'll be interesting to see if that is admitted in NCLT and how exactly that pans out. But let's again shift focus quickly to the day's trading action. We global hues dragged the last street today as bulls emerged victorious in a volatile trading session. The Nifty saw some wild swings before ending below the 10,500 mark. Sensex closed about 0.5% in the red. Banks were the biggest losers in today's trade, with that index slipping more than 1%. Mid-caps relatively outperforming and ended absolutely flat. As always, Anuj Singhal is here to wrap up the day's trading action. Anuj, bulls finally emerging victorious today.
Bad day for the bulls, and I don't say that because the market was down. That can happen. I say that because there was intraday recovery, and that was sold into in last hour, and that too with extremely high volumes, especially towards the end. And the strong selling in private financials is continuing, which means that the FII selling continues unabated in this market. Infosys, Reliance managed to cap the losses on the Nifty, but overall it was a bad day. ICICI, HDFC Bank, Larsen & Toubro, Axis, Sun Pharma, the biggest of the blue chips were down in today's trade. As I said, Infosys, Reliance were a couple of stocks that batted for bulls, along with Eicher Motors. The other interesting tidbit about today's trade was sharp short covering in PSU banks, maybe just shorts booking profit. OBC, Syndicate Bank, Indian Bank, of course, is a relatively stronger stock, but that was, of course, your top gainer today. And some losers in the F&O space today were names like Jindal Steel, JP Associates, and Diwan Housing. All in all, the bears are launching a fresh attack. The bank Nifty is once again very close to its 200-day moving average.
Okay, bulls taking a setback there, but we will of course track this very closely over the course of the few days. But for now, let's take a very short break. On the other side, what are the chances of a big bang Tata Elxsi TCS Tata Technologies merger?
You should ask their shareholders.
TCS chief Rajesh Gopinathan rules out merger with Tata Elxsi, adds that company will continue to beat industry growth average. Exclusive conversation when we return. Welcome back on to the big exclusive interview of the day. MD and CEO of India's largest IT company, TCS, Rajesh Gopinathan, has completed 1 year at the top chair last week. In an exclusive interaction with me earlier today, the TCS top boss laid out the strategy for the company's next leg of growth and expressed confidence that the company will continue to grow ahead of industry average growth rates. He also said that he expects deal momentum to pick up in FY19. Not only that, Rajesh Gopinathan also clarified on merger talks between Tata Elxsi and TCS. This is something that everyone wants to know, Rajesh. NASSCOM has already given its guidance for the IT sector. TCS is on the Executive Council. 7 to 9% is what they are expecting, which is a marginal increase. TCS has obviously been ahead of, for the most part of the last 10 years, been ahead of industry average. Will that continue in FY19 as well?
Yeah, it depends on what the industry is. I think if you take the industry as technology services providers, we definitely are. Yeah. But NASSCOM now represents a much wider variety. Yeah. There are delivery centers of foreign companies here. There are captive units of other industries here. Yeah. They're all getting clubbed into and they're being called part of the industry. Hardly part of the industry. That's not their business. Yeah. So in our competitive set, I think we are quite confident about it. The rest of it depends on company dynamics and rather than competitive dynamics. So we don't want to comment about it.
Okay, but will you be within that range or higher?
Again, as I said, I don't want to use that as a benchmark. Okay, it's not the right one.
In terms of the scale and the deal momentum, are things looking better as you go into FY19? Is FY19 looking like a better year than FY18?
So every time around this time of the year you ask that
question. I always ask you if the next coming year is going to be better. And you often do give an answer, Rajesh.
Yeah, okay. I need to be more careful than that then. See, the momentum is there, as you've clearly seen from the deal side of it. And from an industry perspective, various industry groups are coming together. We have called out the bottoming out in retail. And as you've seen, some of the deals are coming from that
And you've said the big challenge that is BFSI, another 2 quarters left and that should start getting better.
I think so. We are much more constructive on insurance as we see this. And banking is still an area that's work in progress. And we need to see how that turns out. So other than that, most of the other industries are actually doing quite well.
At a group level, Chandra is working on increasing synergies. As you look at going to the next level, building the scale further, how important is synergies across Tata companies, the other IT companies, there's Tata Elxsi, there's Tata Technologies. Have you started those synergies already with the other IT companies in the group?
I think the chairman's message on simplification and synergy and scale is very powerful. Yeah. And technology per se could act as the single most integrating factor across the group. Exactly. So there's a new chief digital officer in the group, and thinking is also becoming much more widespread as to how do we optimize and how do we enable technology to act as a fabric that integrates across the entire group. So we are very excited about it and how do we participate in it. But it has to evolve.
What are the chances of a big bang Tata Elxsi TCS Tata Technologies merger?
You should ask their shareholders.
but is that an option, looking at a merger with other IT companies in the group?
That's not the focus of the agenda.
That isn't.
So, no.
Okay. Very important clarifications coming in there, and that's the first long format interview given by Rajesh Gopinathan after he took over the top chair. We will have to take a very, very short break on that note, but on the other side, we will get you an exclusive news break on exactly why the IRDA withheld final approval to Reliance Capital's health insurance foray. Stay tuned for that. Welcome back. You're still with After the Bell on CNBC TV18. Now let's get you an exclusive from the insurance space. We learned from sources that insurance regulator IRDA has withheld the final nod to Reliance Capital's foray into the health insurance space. Remember, in his annual general meet in September 2017, Reliance Group Chairman Anil Ambani had announced the plan to set up an health insurance firm. Yash Jain, who broke that story now, is here with exclusive details. Yash, exactly why has IRDA withheld this final nod?
Let's just first understand at what stage Reliance Health approval process has reached so far. So in September 2017, they received their R1 or the first level approval, and in December 2017, they received the R2 or the second level approval from the insurance regulator, which means that they have 2 out of total 3 approvals required to start their health insurance operations. Now, what we're given to understand here is that the insurance regulator IRDA has held the issuance of the final approval, which is R3, which will be required for the company to start to initiate the health insurance operations. Now, why has IRDA held this 3rd level of the final approval? What we're given to understand is that that has happened because Reliance Capital, which is the parent company of Reliance Health Insurance, is yet to receive the CIC nod or the CIC license, which is the core investment company license from the Reserve Bank of India. What is a CIC license? Essentially, Reliance Capital as a company has investments in approximately 20 companies from diverse sectors, and for a company like that, IRBI mandates such companies to put these investments into a core investment company model so that any potential threat from such investment does not take a toll or does not impact the capital at the NBFC business or the 2 existing life and general insurance business, and that particular license is yet to come in from the Reserve Bank of India end. Here what I'm given to understand is that IRDA is very firm on its stand that till the time Reliance Capital does not submit this CIC license or the core investment company license, it will not issue the final approval, which will be of course a precondition for Reliance Health to start its business operations.
Okay, and in fact, Yash, at the back of our exclusive story, our Reliance Capital stock was trading in the red today. Now, from one exclusive to another, we learned from sources that SR Steel's Committee of Creditors has called a meeting on the 5th of March. The company's resolution professional will present both bids to creditors. So far, there hasn't been any decision yet on eligibility of New Metal and ArcelorMittal's bids yet. The insolvency professional is currently seeking legal advice for the same. And remember, on Feb 12th, we were the first to tell you that Tata Steel has emerged as the highest bidder for SR Steel. Moving on, we plan to cover 99% of India's population in the next 12 months. That's the word coming in from President of Reliance Jio's Jyotinder Thakur. There's an excerpt of his exclusive interview with CNBC TV18's Megha Vishwanath on the sidelines of the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona. A very, very rare interview. Take a look.
We are planning to basically do 99.9% coverage, as I said. We are planning to basically expand the relationship by adding significant amount of base stations across the country, both macro base stations as well as small cells, to make sure that we can really cover the Indian entity and make sure the Indian consumer really gets the benefit of that.
All right. So when you say that 99% would be covered, we've not essentially got any timelines as to by when. Also, the numbers that were quoted today is that as of now, Jio has about an 86 or an 87% coverage. You want to push that to 99. By when can we expect that?
I believe this will happen in the time to come, but I would say maximum of 12 months, basically, we should be there.
Okay, so speaking of the infrastructure, the architecture, that was said that that is the first or the main challenge. What is the next challenge for Jio? You're already at 86%. You've gotten into the hardware space as well. Now you want to push that coverage to 99%. What was the next set of challenges be for you?
The next set of challenges will be, as Tariq mentioned, to make sure that we can give people a very good capacity of the network, So one is coverage, second is capacity, and third is consumer experience across. So we are expanding all our CDN networks also across the country and being ready for 5G as and when it happens.
And a standard disclaimer on your screens, Reliance is the promoter of Reliance Jio, which also controls Network 18, which owns CNBC Tv18, the channel that you're watching right now. Well, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of After the Bell. Also, as always, thank you so much for watching the show. Stay tuned to CNBC TV18 Markets Today Talkback. We'll take all the market action forward on the other side of this very short break. Thank you again for watching.